They call it the forest that whispers. It is a place that begins where the maps grow thin and the roads turn to dirt and memory. A pale white fog rests over the ancient trees for most of the year, a blanket of silence that moves with the slow, deliberate rhythm of a sleeper's breath. The people who live in the small, quiet towns nearby speak of this place only in low voices, their words hushed as if sharing a secret too heavy to carry alone. Mothers tell their children stories not of adventure, but of caution, warning them to stay away from the tree line. Old men, their faces etched with the wisdom of years, simply nod and say, "Do not go." The forest, they understand, keeps its secrets well. A long time ago, a story began to be told, passed down in the warm glow of pub fires and beside quiet kitchen hearths. It was the tale of a hunter, a man who knew the woods well, who walked between the shadowed trunks one autumn morning and did not come back. The next day, a search party followed his trail, only to find it ended abruptly, as if a giant hand had wiped it from the earth. The hunter's dog returned to the village alone, its tail low, its eyes wide with a terror it could not explain. From that day forward, the dog would not look toward the forest again. This is the kind of story that takes root in a community, and like a seed, it grows in the telling. A whisper of a strange, sweet smell on the air the day the hunter vanished, the sound of a branch snapping where no one stood. The more the tale was told, the more it sharpened, its edges becoming colder and more defined with each retelling. The story was no longer just about a lost man. It became a story about the forest itself, a living entity that had chosen to take him. The legend became a warning, a boundary drawn not with fences or signs, but with the quiet, persistent power of human fear. It settled over the region like the fog itself, a constant, silent reminder of the unknown. Some say the forest is not merely haunted, but cursed. An old folk tale, one of the oldest in the region, speaks of a family that once lived deep within the trees in a time before the towns were built. They were said to be keepers of the land, kind and welcoming at first. But then strangers came, drawn by whispers of something hidden, something precious. The family tried to protect their secrets, but the strangers were relentless and took what was not theirs to take. The stories are not confined to the distant past. They have been given weight by modern accounts, by people who have seen and heard things they cannot explain. An older woman on a lonely road reported a chilling incident one evening. She watched a man in a dark coat walk toward the tree line. As he stepped into the shadows, he vanished in front of her headlights. She stopped, heart pounding, and drove to the spot. There were no footprints in the soft earth. Nothing. A flicker of light, switched off. A young couple seeking adventure camped at the wood's edge. Their tent sat in a sunlit clearing, but as night fell, the atmosphere changed. The tent began to shake violently, though there was no wind. Through the thin canvas, they heard a sound they'd never forget. A simple, melodic song, like a child humming a lullaby, drifting from deep within the trees. No joy, only profound, unsettling loneliness. They packed frantically and left at first light, never looking back. In dusty town hall archives, a former ranger keeps strange artifacts. Among them, a video camera recovered from a trail. The ranger showed the tape to a local journalist. The footage showed a hiker walking, birds, his footsteps. Then, one jarring second and the film flashed blinding white. After that, the tape was completely blank. The ranger has no explanation. Strange sounds have been captured more than once, adding evidence to folklore. Low moans rising from the ground itself. A sharp, distinct rustling in the undergrowth when the air is still. Footsteps on dry leaves circling a campsite where no one walks. Scientists analyzing the recordings say some noises are natural, the groan of tree limbs, the breathing of unseen animals. Others defy classification. Some recordings show sharp metallic tones shifting too fast to be organic, like a machine made of breath and shadow. Listening to them late at night is an unsettling experience. Others tell of lights that appear after dusk, small pale orbs that drift between the dark trunks of the trees. They seem to float a few feet above the ground, moving with a slow, hypnotic grace, utterly silent. They are not fireflies, witnesses insist, for they burn with a cold, ethereal light, sometimes blue, sometimes a soft white. A local child, years ago, was said to have chased one into the woods, thinking it a game. She ran back moments later, her face pale with fright, crying that a voice had told her to stay. She could not remember the words later, only the feeling of a command she was not meant to disobey. These lights are a common thread in the tapestry of eyewitness accounts. Farmers on the border carve old crosses into barn doors. Experienced hunters make a strict rule to leave the paths before the sun sets. The strange lights, the ever-present fog, the weight of old tales. The combination creates a powerful and dangerous mixture. The lights are seen as a lure, a beautiful and deadly invitation into a place from which there may be no return. The forest atmosphere is a palpable thing. The air becomes heavy, birds fall silent. Your footsteps grow loud. It is ancient, watchful, indifferent, and yet many feel it observing. Section 6. Scars on the trees. Deep within the wood, near a strange and crumbling circle of stones, there are other signs. Ancient marks carved into bark, symbols and lines speaking of long human interaction. Experts call them a confusing mixture of old scripts and newer crude carvings. Some like warnings, figures turning from a center. Others look like names. A historian linked one mark to a record 2 centuries old. Settlers who left in winter seeking a sheltered valley. They were never seen again. She believes the mark may be a final message, carved by the last survivor. The trees are storytellers, their bark a scroll of sorrow and loss. Fresh initials, spirals that lead nowhere, stick figures with elongated limbs, eye shapes that seem to watch, signs of a mind struggling to communicate. A language of fear written across the landscape, each carving a small, dark chapter. Section 7. A history of silence. Despite the fear, some are irresistibly drawn. Human curiosity is a powerful force, pulling researchers, journalists, thrill seekers. A small, well-funded team arrives. Thermal cameras, ground-penetrating radar, night vision lenses. Their leader promises strict protocols. Reinforced tents on the road, never within the tree line. They will not split up. They move as a single unit with redundant comms and GPS. Old-timers warn, old rules fail here. The forest bends plans and breaks rules. The team speaks with locals, collects stories, studies hand-drawn maps, pins sightings and sounds, hunts magnetic fields, swamp gas, rare animals. At the edge, there is a profound calm. Birds stop singing. The air grows colder. The fog threads the branches like fine silk. Your heart is a small drum in the vast quiet. The forest watches. It holds its silence, and then, as the stories say, it speaks in a way you do not expect. The threshold of discovery. This is about more than strange events. It is about the powerful magnetic pull of the unknown. People want to know. They step beyond the familiar and peer into darkness. The townsfolk stay away, and in their avoidance, the story stays alive. Investigators prepare, driven to replace mystery with fact. Yet the forest offers no answers. The unknown has a strange gravity. It makes small things large. A gap on a map becomes a place of terrifying significance.